Let us begin. Tavu kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham Sravana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Gunanti E Bhuridajana. We were reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and the last, when we were studying this one, we found that sinful words, Bhakya Dosha, we have to be careful about that. That these are the paths towards spirituality. We are moving towards the spirituality, towards God. We like to realize God, and before that, all these things are necessary. What is the sinful words? They say Parushya Vakya, that means harsh words. So we discussed last time that one should not behave like that, should not use this type of words. Second, false words, Anritam Vakya. One should not use the false words. Thirdly, Vaishunya Vakya. Vaishunya means criticism. One should not use those words by which we are criticizing others. And finally, unrelated discussion or Sambadhya Pralapa. It's not Vakya, Pralapa. There's no meaning why we are discussing like that. So last time I discussed how people, the most of the time, they'll be spending on gossip. They'll be spending on unnecessary discussion. And that way, the time is lost. And then we discussed about purity. The moment we are thinking about the purity, it comes only as if we are taking the Ganga water, drinking little Ganga water, or doing little japa, and this is purity. Of course, this is purity. But purity goes in 3 different stages. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God." If one wants to see God, realize God, then what type of purity? Then it says, and this way we are understanding very core of the things, because all this superficial way we know. But the purity means first gross purity, sthula pavitrata. Gross purity means not speaking, telling lies or this, that way, just body and mind, that purity. And that also so difficult for us. Even that we cannot practice, and we expect that we will realize God. Second is subtle purity. Inside the mind, subconscious mind also should be pure. There should not be any impure thought. When those who have read the life of Sri Ramakrishna, that he has mentioned many times, even in dream, the worldly thoughts never came to me. It is so pure, even in dream, the worldly thoughts never came. And purity means always thinking of God, and God means all-pervading consciousness. And when that all-pervading consciousness constantly within our mind, within our consciousness, within our thought, what happens? We always feel so much for others, love for others, concern for others. there will not be any aorta, any small dot of jealousy, of criticism, of narrow thoughts. Nothing will be there. So subtle mind also, and then that won't do. Ultimately we have to go to the causal purity, karana pavitrata. In the root itself, it will not come. And once our sister Nivedita, European lady, Swami Vivekananda asked her to help our scientist, because the scientist was presenting a paper, so Swamiji asked her to help the scientist, and she was doing. And she stayed back in the Paris for a long time. Jagadish Chandra Bose, the scientist. When afterwards she was not coming, and then Swamiji wrote to her, "Why you are not coming? There's a lot of work is there. Now the paper is already ready, and give it to him and come back and join in the work." Jokingly, she said, "Are you jealous as because I am with Jagadish Chandra Bose?" Swamiji replied, "That is one thing completely absent from my birth. No jealousy, nothing." Can you imagine the causal purity, karana pavitrata? Swami Vivekananda, when he was traveling in the streets of Cairo, the devotees who were with him, they were also not knowing properly about the city, so they went to a place which was not very good. All the ladies were standing over there, gesturing, posturing. Immediately, they understood their mistakes. They asked Swamiji to come back. Swamiji, come back. But Swamiji, totally in a different mood, he went near to them and muttering, telling to himself, "Oh my mothers, where you have brought you? Oh, in this place?" As if soliloquizing, he was telling to himself. And the effect was, the whole hell turned into heaven that very moment. Many of them could not bear that Vivekananda in their front, so they ran away. Some of them closed their eyes and were shouting, "God, God." And a few, those who were little pure, they came and they touched the feet of Swamiji, crying to save their souls. So that is the power of purity. That is the power of love. So this is what we have to learn. And we were reading that Yoga Vasishta says, "Manohi jagatam katri." Manohi purusha smrita. The mind of a person is verily the master of the world. Manohi jagatam katri. When we are proceeding towards God realization, spirituality, we read a lot of books. You go to many places, they will be simply chanting. They have marked up. Though we were discussing that previously, people were there who could recite the whole 4 Vedas. That's why their title were Chaturvedi. Surname was Chaturvedi. They were supposed to recite all the 4 Vedas. But does it mean they were religious people? Realized people? Holy people? No. We have to see where their mind was. What they thought, what they did. Manohi jagatam katri. And then Yoga Vasishta is telling, Monokritam kritam loke na shariram kritam kritam. When you are performing physically, that is not the work, that is not the done. What we are thinking, that is the work. And that impression we will carry. Not physically what we are doing, it is nothing. Sometimes people will be always careful that we are not stumble or stepping on the say ants or that type of things. Very, very careful. They will be carrying the broom in their hands, sweeping all the way and putting their feet like that. Ahimsa. Is it ahimsa? Physically doing. Can we practice ahimsa that way? The same person will be criticizing others, planning to harming others, or behaving in a totally different way. So that is the reason we have to understand the scripture perfectly. Otherwise, we cannot make progress. We are thinking that we are progressing. That is also another difficulty. When you will be studying the yoga philosophy, and every Sunday morning, there we will come to know about this. We make our whole world like that. We start thinking, Mano kritam kritam loke, na sharira kritam kritam. One person, there's a story of Sharat Chandra Chakravarti. He is mentioning in the village, and the daughter-in-law is so silent. But the mother-in-law, right from the morning till night, she'll be shouting and cursing. Now the people, they could hear her and could see her because she was on the first floor. And from there she'll be looking on the ground and will be going on criticizing the daughter-in-law and like this. Everybody used to think, so the mother-in-law is so good. Daughter-in-law is so good, and she never says anything. But look at this old lady, senior lady, instead of loving her, she is constantly criticizing her, rebuking her, and using the bad languages. But one young boy, he thought, the neighbor, action and the reaction, it is obvious. There must be two things together, then only sound will come. In one thing, ek hate tali bajena, in Bengali they say. In one hand, you cannot clap. You have to have two hands. So then he climbed a tree, and from there he found that young lady, that the daughter-in-law, she is sweeping the court here, and sometimes looking at the mother-in-law, that lady is sitting over there in the veranda, and showing the broom to her, and then again quietly she is doing it. And this lady will be angry and going on abusing and shouting, and it will continue. And when she is tired, quietened down, again she will do like that. So mano kritam kritam loke, silently we are doing, not doing anything physically. There also that lady was doing physically, showing the broom. No, sometimes we are so quiet, so good, so loving, always smiling face. But sometimes these people will be so dangerous because their thought is dangerous. Because their thought process is totally very dangerous type. So this is the, one person is angry, then again he is laughing, and then again normally behaving is a normal person. It's okay, you can understand. But always angry, difficult, and always smiling, be away. Because we do not understand what he is thinking. So that is the monohi jagatam katri. Monohi purusha smrita. So mind is the doer through thought, not the body through action. Body is nothing just like our machine. What we think the body does. Body has nothing to do. So manushyanam karanam, mano eva manushyanam karanam bandha moksha. Why again and again we are discussing about the mind? Because that is very important for us. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling that how to realize God. Then he said, then we will come to, because this is our mind which can immediately give us mukti, freedom. And this mind is the cause of our bondage. This is the reason, again and again we have to understand, Baddhaya Vishaya Saktam Muktai Nirvishayam Smritam. You do everything. Sitting on the wealth like a king, but don't keep your mind over there, you are free. Those who are poor people standing over there, homeless, asking for food, asking for help, are they mukta? Because they are not having any property, not having any wealth, not having bank account, not at all. They are attached, more attached. But there may be many people unattached, having lot of money, respect, social acceptance, but totally detached. So that is Baddhaya Vishaya Saktam Muktai Nirvishayam Smritam. One minister, he was coming, sitting on an elephant. And the disciple of Chaitanya Dev asked him to go and meet him. He went to say, this is the man Chaitanya Dev asked me to meet. He is a Vishayi, he is a minister, so many people surrounding him, and naturally his mind was not, no, this is not a good person. But when he talked about Chaitanya Dev and Mahaprabhu, about the God, he started crying. Tears rolled down, so much of love. Only one word immediately broke the whole thing. His mind was so pure, so devoted, so concentrated on that holy ideology. So this is, they say, Manohi Jagatam Gatri, Manohi Purusha. And here Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is explaining this thing in a very beautiful way. We will come across again and again afterwards. He is telling about two friends. Both of them were walking, and suddenly one found that there is a temple. Arati is going on, and music, devotional music is going on. He said, let me go over, let us go over there. And the other friend said, here, all old people only goes. We are young people, why should you go over here? Let us go to some other place, I will show you. You will see the music, you will see the dance, you will see that they are distributing the wine freely. There are so many things that they are, come with me. He said, no, I will go over here. He went and sat. Then the one person was reading the Bhagavata, and perhaps Bhagavata, I don't know, I added it. So perhaps he was reading the Bhagavad and Krishna and all these things were going on. And this fellow got bored. Oh my God, where I have come? It's so boring. Maybe the reader and the speaker was like me, so making everybody bored. So, and he was thinking, it would have been better if I had gone with my friend over there. He's enjoying. So he's sitting in the temple and thinking about the brothel. And the person over there was lamenting in his mind, oh my God, what a hell I am in. Why have I come over here? So filthy things everywhere. So all the way they are dancing and talking and singing, so nasty. And why I am here? I could go over there with my temple. He must be listening to the holy words, to the holy songs. They both of them, they were thinking. Their body was, one's body was in a filthy place, another was in a holy place. But the mind was just opposite. When they died, the one who was sitting physically in the brothel went to God, heaven, and the other went to hell. Then they were wondering why. I was in temple only. Then they said, but your body was in the temple, but what you were thinking? And that is the reason the Rani Rashmani, she was sitting in front of the goddess Kali and was thinking something else about his property. She was a queen. Naturally, Sri Ramakrishna was singing devotional song, and he could understand the mind of the people. Immediately gave a slap. And it was unthinkable. A priest is slapping the queen, Rani Rashmani, and her personality. You cannot imagine when you read the biography, life of that Rani. But Rani understood because the touch of Sri Ramakrishna transformed her. It was not an ordinary touch. So here we find that the mind is the thing that we have to be very, very careful. Others won't be able to understand me from outside. How one can understand the mind? Only people like Sri Ramakrishna can. I told you perhaps the one gentleman came and sat and he was looking at me. Then I told, do you like to say something? He is looking only. Then afterward, again and do you like to say something? Third time when I asked, he said, you know what I like to say. I don't have time to read your mind. You now tell me what you want to say and save the time of you and me also. So if you are thinking the moment we reach over there, they will be understanding. This all miraculous thing doesn't happen all the time. Very, very few people like Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Ma Sharada, very high spiritual people, they can understand perhaps, but mostly they will never use it. And here we find that Sri Ma, he is asking some questions about God in form or without form. That conversation is going on. In the beginning we found. And what was the answer of Sri Ramakrishna? God may be in form, maybe without form. Whatever you like, you stick to that. Suppose you are liking that God without form, no harm, stick to that. But never think, this is the only path, this is the only way, this is the only method. That is the teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. We are recapitulating. That is the only thing. What I am thinking, it is good, it is correct for me. But what they are thinking, that too are good, and that is for them. Then the question of how to fix our mind on God. And then he said, Sri Ramakrishna, that important point he is telling, you have to break the ego. That is important. The answer, God is giving the answer, that's true. The holy person giving the answer, that's true. But who is listening? Suppose he having the ego, you won't listen properly. That's why sometimes we go to the doctors, unless you can love the doctor, that medicine may not work. It's because of the psychology. Oh, this person doesn't look that smart like a doctor. Will he be able to help me? I don't think. So like that, it will be difficult. Even for the teachers also. If we are not having the Shraddha, we cannot learn from the teacher properly. So that is why the Shraddha, that word, afterwards we will come to that. But the Shraddha before that, our ego should be removed. No, I have come over here and he is a holy person, he has given his life, the whole life for this purpose. Can I be compared with him? No. And all through the life, he has practiced this, not committed any mistake. Then why not we listen to him? Maybe his explanation is just this moment I am not liking, because I am not understanding. And Sri Ramakrishna's explanation was not liked by Sri Master Maharaj, Mahendranath. When he said both is all right, with form, without form, Mo was thinking how it is possible. How one thing can be in form and without form, when the without form is everywhere, the same everywhere, God, how it... So this, and afterwards, again and again, Sri Master Maharaj's ego was broken by Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. That is very important. Before we are listening to the holy words, we have to understand this. When Sri Ma was confused about whether God has a form or God without form, Sri Ramakrishna saw it. Remember that God with form is just as true as God without form. Look at the way he is telling, as truth that as without form. Then he said, this is very important, but hold fast to your own conviction. Suppose today morning I am a devotee, I am thinking God is there, I am here. And afternoon I am a jnani, I don't believe in the form of God. That will do. That will not help us. The other day, I think day before yesterday, we were in a place I was talking about, the one gentleman said that God is everywhere. Then why should I pray? Why should I have to ask? I said, that is for you. If you really think that God is everywhere and God is within you and you are the God, good for that. But you have to take the whole responsibility. When it is good, everybody is praising, I am. When everybody is criticizing, oh God, God, that won't do. All the blame to God and all the praise to yourself, that won't do. That's why he is telling, but hold fast to your own conviction. Why? That is the way we can go towards spirituality. The same thing, we find in the Kularnava Tantra, explaining almost the same in a way. He is telling, Advaitam kechit icchanti. Dvaitam icchanti cha apare. Cha means and, apare means others. Dvaitam icchanti, they love, they like, they duality. Advaitam kechit icchanti, but some like Advaita, one only. Mama tattvam na jananti dvaita dvaita vivarjitam. But both of them don't know completely. Because I am Dvaita, I am Advaita, and also beyond this. You cannot fathom, you cannot understand the total God. That's why again and again, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, don't try to understand the whole of it. It is impossible. Even the Shukadeva could take a little water out of that infinite ocean. So whatever you are thinking it is good, that's good for you. Aam khete secho, aam khe jao. In Bengali say, you have come to take mango. Why you are calculating all the leaves of the tree? First, who is the owner? Then how many branches? How many leaves? What for? You need the mango. You take the mango. Be satisfied. It is not possible for us to understand. God is impossible. One part, and this same way, again we find that Daksha, he is telling, Dvaitam chaiva tatha dvaitam, dvaita dvaitam tathaiva cha. God may be dual, God may be non-dual, and maybe beyond. So these are the wonderful way we find, and Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is explaining the whole thing in a very unamicable way, in his own the special way. He said, mother cooks different dishes to shoot the stomachs of her different children. The different type of people are there. So according to their taste, there will be. Myself and Varadananda ji, we sit side by side. Varadananda ji will be having lot of ghee and what's called? Peanut butter and all those things will be there. I will be just glancing, but I can't take. So, and what I am taking, if I offer also, he will say thank you. No. This is all bitter and without oil. So naturally, mother cooks different dishes to shoot the stomachs of her different children. See how simple way he is solving the whole problem. Everybody is shouting, my way, my path, my thought, my ideology, my philosophy is correct. Yours, and not only, they won't stop over there. My philosophy is correct, it's okay. They won't stop. Yours is not. That he'll also say. That this is the problem. But some people may think, why, when we are reading Sri Ramakrishna, and when Sri Ramakrishna is telling it is sufficient, Why should we have to quote from different scriptures? Why should we have to make all these explanations about the words of Sri Ramakrishna, which is so simple? So this is the question. It may come in the minds of some people. You just read. It is so easy. Is it so easy to understand? One brahmachari, one gentleman, we can say, he was reading Kathamrita, and he said to a Swami, senior Swami, nowadays I am reading Kathamrita. The Swami said, don't read. You first read the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Understand that Swamiji, and then come to Kathamrita. Otherwise you won't understand him. He is so simple, but so difficult to understand. Master Masha is telling, you are so simple, so easy, but so difficult to understand, because as if we have understood you, but next moment we find no. So it's so depth, and moreover, this is the tradition of India. Whenever we are going to establish something, telling something, immediately you will find even the Shankaracharya, in his explanations, in his commentary, he will be quoting from different philosophy. He will be quoting from different persons. Why? Shankaracharya is sufficiently knowledgeable. Whatever he said is sufficient. No. He will be quoting, giving the argument, giving the answer, so that whatever he wants to establish, that is perfect. So this is when our Arjuna, he understood that the person with whom he was mixing as a friend, roaming around and all these things, he is not ordinary. He is the God himself. And then he said, Ahustva Mrishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradas Katha. He said, Oh God, I have understood that you are Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam. You are the supreme Brahman, you are the supreme abode, and you are the utterly holy person. Then the second sentence is wonderful. Why? Because all the rishis, Ahustva Rishaya Sarve, these things have been said about you, it has been mentioned by all the rishis. And what type of rishis? Narada, Devarshi Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa. All these rishis are talking about you. And then finally he is telling, Swayam Chaiva Braveshi Me. And you have also said to me. You yourself have said about you to me, Swayam Chaiva Braveshi Me. So this is also essential, some necessary. Sometimes some people will be telling, why you quote about this man and that man? They are giving about the statement about Sri Ramakrishna. Is it essential, necessary? For this only it is necessary. All those people who are talking, and then for the historical, the events also, historically if to prove, you have to keep this sentence. So this is very, very important. This is important because all the scriptures are taught in the same way. Nothing new. And once the truth has come, it cannot be different truths. Same truth realized by different people, different time, different places, and expressing in different language. But it is the same truth. That is the way, that is why we are quoting so much from different shastras. And here we find he still repeats the God's name and sing his glory. And the first questions that he asked, and how to fix our mind on God, repeat the God's name. And we have discussed at length how to take the name of God. This is called japa in Sanskrit. The only japa won't do, only the name won't do. You have to, at the same time, remember the glory of God, singing the glory of God. That means His qualities. What is the quality of God? First and foremost, purity, simplicity, and love, eternal love for everyone. And purity means unselfishness. The moment we are selfish, we are impure. And the moment we are utterly unselfish, we become God ourselves. And that is why we have then visiting the God's devotees and holy men. Have you noticed how he is mentioning? Visiting the devotees, no, he has not mentioned that. Devotee means devoted. Devoted for many reasons. Devoted for many things. When one of the very famous spiritual person died, passed away, the Supreme Court had to give the judgment, close the door. Otherwise, his devotees, the devotees, then the word devotee within court, they all came and they were taking away all the gold and wealth and money. They are the devotee. They understand this man is having a lot of money, and so they will be there swamping, and then the moment he passed away, all jump over there. All the committee members have become so rich. Why? They are devotee. I have 25 years standing devotee, so I want 25% of the wealth. So this type of devotees are also there. And majority of them are like that only. The moment they won't get the profit, they will never come to. Are they God's devotee? That is the question. Oh, Maharaj is a very devotee right from 1952. It's good. But is it truly? It's not the age. It's not the year. It's not from whom you have taken the initiation. But you have to understand, am we truly God's devotee? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna using this word, visit God's devotee. And who can be a God's devotee? Totally devoted, whose mind is totally to God. There's no discrimination. And just like the holy person, same thing, whose mind is always dwelling at the feet of God, is a holy person, is a devotee. So this way, unless we know, it is of no use then. Many people will be coming and quoting that he was that was that, the relation and all. It is good. But not that his uncle was a sannyasi, so he is also almost like sannyasi. No, it's nothing like that. No question of it. Just because he is going to the ashrama, spending time with the monks, or helping this thing or that thing in the ashrama, does it mean the devotee? No. You have to understand it. So devotees company that will rise you from the worldly temperament to the spiritual temperament. So the company or the thought of the person to whom I am going must be like that also. So these are the things we must be very, very careful. Otherwise what happens in the spiritual life, we cannot make any progress and go to solitude now and then and discriminate. He is telling, discriminate, vichara. Every month at our Ganges, Michigan, we are having the spiritual retreat. The very learned Swamis, they are coming. They are expounding as simple as possible way. They are telling the whole day. But are we really utilizing the time? We go over there, we are happy. To some extent it's good. But when Sri Ramakrishna is advising to be in the solitude means, with the thought we are going over there, that must be 100%. That 2 days or 3 days thinking nothing but God. The group of ladies, they were going on foot to a pilgrimage, and they were taking all the things to offer the God, but never talked about God. They were talking about something else. This is the way Sri Ramakrishna is explaining. These people are going to the temple, but never talked about the God. They'll be talking about, oh, my niece, or the dad, he is so close to me, you won't leave me. Like that, all the words of samsara they'll be talking. And Sri Ramakrishna, who is just like mother, so careful about the development of the devotees, again and again pinpointing it, again and again explaining it, not to criticize, but to rectify. It's not the criticism, it's the rectification. Whole life we are spending in the ashrama without any development. I told our teachers, I told our staff, when you were very young, came and joined in the ashrama, and back in our ashramas there in India. And when you retire at the age of 60, when you go back, with what you are going back? Only some pension money, only some other things. Don't you think that you are spending your whole life in a holy company, in a holy place? All these people, they are coming from far away places only to talk to us. They are coming and spending 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, they are so happy. And we are here all through with you. You are not taking the benefit of it. You think you are really very clever? This way also they pass. We have seen hundreds. They will never think about that we are holy people. They will never think that this is an ashrama. They will never think that they can develop in spirituality along with their work. And all through they will be thinking that they are not getting the proper benefit. And if you ask them to speak about any religious thing, spirituality, and they will be hours together in wonderful sentences. They will be talking about God and all this. But in practice, nothing. So it is not the place that you are leaving, but it is the practice that you are doing. This is very important. We are going to the solitude, but what we are thinking there, what type of talk, what type of thought. So this is, when you go to the solitude, he is asking where to go. And there you have to be alone. How can you be lonely because in one room there are 2 different people or 3 different accommodation? It doesn't mean anything. You are 3, but you are lonely. When you are traveling, suppose, in a train or in a aircraft, so many people are there. We are all lonely. There may be hundreds, but I am thinking in my own, I am just deep in my own thought. I am reading, I am thinking, I am meditating, I am praying. Will anybody will come and disturb me? No, nobody will come. Rather, that behavior will inspire others. So this is the important thing. But most of the time we never point it out. Why? So we don't like to be disliked by you. And that is wrong. So if we are really loving the devotees, we have to pinpoint or to tell them that this is the wrong thing that you are doing, you should not. So this is, and afterwards we discuss also the Nirjan Bhashan, what is practicing silence and what is Mauna, etc. Now there are 3 different types of mentalities are there. In reply, how ought we to live in the world? When Master Mashai asked this question, there Sri Ramakrishna solved a great problem, the wonderful answer he gave. Most of the time the philosophy is telling that this world is illusory, full of sorrow, so just leave it and come away. Wrong thing. Wrong for whom? Person who is receiving it. Here there are 3 different types of mentality. One, they want to enjoy the world. So obviously, for them, if you are pressurizing them socially, asking them to leave everything and come away, what they will do? Either they will become mad or they will behave in a way, and 2 phases will be there. apparently they will be showing that they are holy and they will be behaving in another way. And so many instances nowadays we find because of that. And second, mentally detached people. And these people, they don't like to be in the world, so they completely dedicated to God and spirituality. So this is also all right. But the answer that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave, it is for the third type of people. Who are they? They are majority. And they understood the futility of this world. The life is nothing, is going to pass away someday, and I will be like this and that. That they have understood. But at the same time, they can't leave the worldly life immediately and totally, because they have some responsibility, like the Master Mahashaya. And for them, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. See the answer, so simple, but so valuable. This is the first time someone is telling like this, do all your duties, but keep your mind on God. Live with all, with your wife and children, father, mother, serve them. Treat them as if they were very dear to you, but know in your heart of hearts that they do not belong to you. Why Sri Ramakrishna is asking like this? I love them so much, respect them so much, attached with them so much. Today in newspaper I was reading to one person, now he is 65 years old, and somehow he has become a father, and he is so happy. The whole 4 pages of the newspaper, they have dedicated on him only. In 65 he has become father, he is so happy, etc., etc. And these are the first type of people. They never think of, but they're good people, very efficient people, but not very careful about spiritual life. Not that they are not religious, they are also religious people. Maybe they are going to the temple and churches and all this they are doing, but they are not the people to listen to the Sri Ramakrishna. And those who have already renounced the world, that is also another type of people. But this is the people for whom Sri Ramakrishna is telling, they live in the society, live in the family, but you have to live. This is the truth that he is telling. If you can live in that way, you will be happy ultimately. Because ultimately we have to live. The more we hug and more we cling to these people, we cannot keep ourselves, and they also cannot be with us. We came alone, we have to go alone. If this truth is there in our mind, then only we can love God. And then he is giving the udharan. Udharan means is giving the instances, and that's it. Maid servant in the house. Then the tortoise moves about in the water, but can you gaze where her thoughts are? They are on the bank where her eggs are lying. In Andaman we saw huge tortoise, they are coming, and they usually swim from Australia to Andaman. They live in Australia, but when they will give the egg, they swim across the whole ocean, go to the shore of India, and then they will go up, dig, and lay the egg, close the whole thing, and go away in the water. I don't know why. Thousands of people, they will be coming, mostly from the Europe, America, and with all camera, all overnight they will be lying over there to have the photograph and glimpses like this. And this is Prakriti, this nature, I can't explain. But the thing is, their mind is always there. That will be where their eggs are. Maybe that they won't find it again, but the mind is there. So similarly, we have to keep our mind on God, then mixing with the all these people. And he is telling, If you enter the world without fast, cultivating love for God, you will be entangled more and more. So there is a story. The one dog was there, and constantly it will be lying at the gate. The people, the living in the house, they never liked the dog. They used to beat the dog. They used to try to push it away. They never failed, but dog will never go. Then suddenly one holy man came who could see the through and through. He saw that there's not a dog, there's a person within. Then he talked with that. Who are you? Why you are here? Then he said, I am actually the owner of this house. All these people are my grandchildren and their children. They're all my relatives. I love this family so much that I cannot leave them. So, first I came as a cow, then after that death of the cow body, I have taken the form of a dog. I am lying over here, but they don't understand. They beat me, and I am guarding them. So much attachment. Then this holy person said, they will be taken care of. They know how to take care of themselves. You take the name of God and be free from this bondage. So this is the company of a holy man, how they slowly develop. There was a dog. He used to live with Swami Vivekananda in Belur Math. You have read about that dog. Even when the Swamiji said, leave him on the other side of the bank of the Ganga, he came away. And again he was there. After the dead body, then somewhere they placed the dead body, but found that the dead body is floating just in front of the Belur Math. Maybe sometimes so this is the way, we cannot explain, but there are so many things are there. So one must be very, very careful about the attachment. We love the household, we love our children, we must do that, but not with attachment. That is what Sri Ramakrishna is telling. You will be overwhelmed with its danger, its grief, its sorrows, and the more you think of worldly things, the more you will be attached to them. Then he is giving how we can be free from all this. He is giving that upadesha, the instruction, very simple. First, rub your hands with oil and then break open the jackfruit, which usually in the villages the ladies they do. First they will be applying the oil in their fingers and hand, and then they will break open the jackfruits, but the green jackfruits particularly. First, secure the oil of divine love. See the word he is using? The oil of divine love. And then set your hands to the duties of the world. Then he is saying, but one must go into solitude to attain the divine love. He is telling that when you are living in the world, you use the divine love as an oil so that you are not attached with the world. And where you will develop that, where you will get the divine love, he is also telling that you have to go to the solitude. To get butter from milk, you must let it set into curd and into a secluded spot. And that way, he is explaining. Further, by meditating on God in solitude, the mind acquires, then the three words he is telling. They're very interesting. When we are meditating in the seclusion, in a quiet place, three things we get. What? Knowledge, then dispassion, then devotion. See the three words he is telling. And how one is getting the knowledge at the same time devotion. And he is using the word dispassion in between the two. It's not just at random he is saying. If you have to develop the devotion to God, you need dispassion. If you have to develop the knowledge for God, about God, you need dispassion. So dispassion is in between, supporting both. And here he is telling you will get the knowledge, dispassion and devotion. Together with this, you must practice discrimination. So knowledge, dispassion, devotion, we acquire through meditation. And then what we have to practice? He said, together with this, you must practice discrimination. Do you understand? He is asking him. Him said, yes, sir. Now, if we look at this knowledge means jnana. And what is that knowledge? No jayate, no mriyate, na vardhate, na vikarati, nityaha. This is the knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean the information about many things. Knowledge means this realization. What is that realization? Every Sunday morning when you were chanting Mano Buddha Hankara Chittani Naham. That is knowledge. And there is the wonderful knowledge. No jayate. I never born. Many people will be asking what is the date of birth, and all children will be so happy. Happy birthday, they will be telling. And they will be celebrating. But the Atman never born. Na jayate, na mriyate. So naturally it is no death also. Na vardhate, it never grows. Na vikarati, never decays. Because nitya is constant, eternal, every moment, everywhere is nitya. This is the knowledge. Just by hearing we can understand it is so difficult. It's not so easy. One person used to come to Sri Ramakrishna, and hypocrite. He will be telling that I am in the path of knowledge. I don't like devotion, all this. The path of knowledge I follow. I am a jnani. I am a jnani. He used to tell every time. And what happened? He took some loan from somebody and couldn't repay it back. So naturally they went to court, and court has sent the order that his whole house and the household properties that they will take and then sell, and then money will be, they will take away the money, etc. And then he was crying, oh my property, oh. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, why you are crying now? You are a kaw. He used to say, tell himself as a kaw. Kaw means akasha, sky. And naturally, nothing can touch akasha, the space. So much of dust is flowing as if it is contaminating the akasha. No, it's nothing. The sky is always free. Though so many things we see on it. So he used to tell himself as a kaw, when Thakur is telling, why you are crying now? Some those people are taking away your utensils. And nothing, simple things. And now you are crying so much, you are attached to so much. And he used to say yourself as kaw. A kaw, and kaw. Kaw means akasha. So this is if you have to be a jnani, a knowledge means this way. Ramana Maharshi, he practiced this path. It's not so easy. Very, very difficult. Swami Vivekananda was a jnani. But at the same time, within his heart, there is a love, there is devotion. And what is devotion? Then we find that tad arpita, akhila acharata, tad means God. Arpita, akhila acharata. Whatever we do, we are giving it to God. Before food, after food, at the time of cooking, at the time, all these things that we do, we have to give it to God. Ramakrishna arpanamastu. Tad arpita akhila acharata. Then, tad vishmarane paramo vyakulata. But when we forget him, then we feel so sad. Oh, today evening I couldn't take the name of God. I never could remember him. That Vyakulata, that is called bhakti. And this jnana and bhakti is achieved, supported only by vairagya, dispassion. And then come discrimination. About these two we will be discussing in the next day. So let us now chant this. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa drita vigraham vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.